Bigger than capes.
Give me some insight.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it, and then I watched it.
Right.
Hello, welcome to Bigger Than Capes. I'm Zach, and this week I'm joined by Matt.
Hey, Zach.
How's it going, bud? Yeah, adequate as always.
Yeah, I'd say that adequate is a decent word for the state that most I'm in most days. It rarely rises above that, but because also nothing is happening, it rarely sinks below it either.
I think that is a unfortunately very accurate way of defining the world right now. But in other news, you've been doing much? You've been busy? You've been unbusy?
I've been reading a few comics. I read Grenade by Will Kirkby. That I like. I've liked his art for a long time, and when he finally put out this OGN last year, a friend bought it for me as a present, and it's fantastic. Like I won't say too much because I think that there could be an episode on it sometime in the future. But it's real fun. It's cyberpunk, sort of biopunk, former sort of decommissioned living weapons acting as UN weapons inspectors in a futuristic Hong Kong. Yeah, really fun book. Also, still trying to catch up on One Piece. I am about 700 chapters through now.
That's a good chunk.
Yeah, I'm about 3/4 of the way through. So
you might make it
as long as they never release any more chapters.
Oh yeah, true. There is that constant problem with manga, isn't there? That they just keep making the damn stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why do they do it? Do they do it just so I feel like I'm being pushed further and further away?
It is the problem trying to catch up with any kind of long-running comic, manga, TV show. The threat that there will always be just that little bit more. I've got the same thing. I'm trying to do my epic...
your Turtles.
Turtles catch-up, yeah. I'm coming up to the end of City Fall at the moment. It's real cool.
Yeah, I've heard that's very, very good.
It is. I've been doing... To try and, I guess, push me to do it and, be dedicated, I've been doing, an Instagram video diary of it as well, of me, telling you where I'm up to with Turtles. So I feel like if there's somebody seeing it, they'll be like, man, Zach's not been reading enough Turtles this week. I've set a firm deadline as well that I'm going to have read the first 100 issues before we talk about issue 101 onwards in June. So I have to do it, Matt. I have to. But it is real good. So it's worth it. And I look forward to achieving my goal and celebrating like an idiot on that episode in June.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm glad it's going better than your ECW attempt, watching ECW from the Eastern Championship Wrestling days all the way up to the end. How far did you get? Had they become extreme?
Yeah, I got a good couple of years in because that's how long it takes for it to get extreme. But honest to God, I don't know. It's only 10 years worth of shows. And I look at other shows that I've watched 10 years worth of and think, how hard could ECW catch-up be? It's not even an ECW catch-up because ECW has an end.
Yeah,
it's not even like I'm going to always be behind with ECW. One day I could have watched it all.
Yeah, you just need to catch up to December to Dismember, and just about done. That WWE ECW.
I joked the last time I watched December to Dismember that you know how people do podcasts where they like review the same film every week.
You were going to try and do a monthly ECW December to Dismember.
Yeah, and we'd just see how far I could take that before eventually snapping and like hosting my own December to Dismember that of superior quality. I don't even think I need a budget for it. I think
just based on the stuff you've got around the house.
I think as a sheer passion project, I could build an elimination chamber and just get it done. I'm going to stop now because I realise our already niche audience are probably screaming into their arms right now and trying to figure out what we're talking about.
I'm sure everyone knows about like that the height of elimination chamber matches that was present there. But yeah, perhaps we should move on. So, Turtles, anything else?
Matt, there's no time between Turtles. Yes, there is. I have been reading other stuff that I've been keeping up with. So, Knock 'em Dead remains to be good, which is Elliot Rahal's current, probably nearly finished Aftershock series about stand-up comics and possession by ghosts. So, classic. I've been keeping up with Scout's Honor, which, as me and Angela frequently have pointed out, is rad. Homesick Pilots, which is... I'm looking forward to reading it all as one big chunk at the end because I think it'll be even better. I've also been trying to catch up on the stuff I've bought but not read. You know about those, right?
Yeah. I mean, no, I totally can't. I totally can't sympathise with that.
Which is not going great. I'm not going to lie. Getting sidetracked reading new books and Turtles and means that ultimately the pile of books never gets any smaller. Gets bigger, I'll tell you that much. I keep buying things because I'm a sucker. Yeah, but one day, Matt, I'm going to finish all the books. This is the year I'm finishing all the books. Quote me on that. I'm going to complete comics this year.
Yeah, it'll be great. Like, and you'll be sad because there'll be no more comics, but you'll be free.
That's right, and that's fine. That's the dream, isn't it? To be free of this mortal form and the curse that I am in. Having to read all the comics.
You'll finally ascend.
Like Wesley Crusher, he ascended, right?
Yeah,
he became some kind of god character in the next
Traveller.
Yeah.
But yeah, so why don't we tell the lovely listeners about our sponsor, Zach?
Let's do that. Our sponsor is Travelling Man. As always, they're based in Manchester, Leeds, Newcastle, and York. And as always, they're available online right now at travellingman.com. And for click and collect is what they're available for. So hit them up.
Yeah, so you can still, you can still get your single issues that way. If pick up your pull list.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, like they're still doing great. Like in terms of like getting your stuff out to you at this difficult time. Yeah, like great stuff. They've got just about anything you could want. They've got comics, manga, board games, card games, role-playing games, and like other sorts of like memorabilia and paraphernalia. Yeah.
And hopefully in the not so distant future, we'll actually be able to go to Travelling Man again.
Go in store. Yeah.
Oh man, crazy.
It feels a bit like a bit of a pipe dream at the moment, but
a long-running pipe dream though. So
yes,
but yeah, hopefully soon they'll be back open and we'll be hanging out there like the nerds we are.
Yeah, I've missed it. It's been, like I said, it's been over a year now since I was last in.
Yep, that is true. It seems like only yesterday we were planning to go and see Bloodshot.
Yep. Which I do think we should do a Bloodshot episode at some point, and maybe a Valiant cinematic universe thing, by which I mean like the Valiant
that one web
film
series
and web series that don't exist in the same universe.
I will happily do those episodes. I think we both know that. I don't think I've said no to an episode yet. No matter what dumb ideas we throw out, I'm all for some reason. So on that note, shall we move on to the main event of Bigger Than Capes this week?
Yes, I think we should. And that is Croc and Roll.
So Croc and Roll is it was and is continuing to be a Kickstarter project from Hamish Steele, who you might know from Dead Endia and Pantheon, which are both real good. It was originally meant to be a first issue, and then they just kept hitting new stretch goals until it was a second issue and a third issue, and then they decided they were just going to do a trade. But they've been sending out the singles as they're finished, so we've got the first 2 issues to go out today. We also have the first 3 songs, because Croc and Roll is...
It's a multimedia comic.
It's a multimedia comic, which is entirely our jam. It follows the story of Mayday Mendez and the band she decides to manage, who just happen to be...
a bunch of crocodilians.
Yeah, anthropomorphized, like.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you were reading all that Turtles stuff, to prepare you for this.
Yeah, it was all swerve. I'm not getting ready for June. I'm getting ready for this right now.
Zach, when do you think we're going to learn the secret of the ooze and how they came to be?
I reckon it's around about the same time as the Kevin Nash and Vanilla Ice cameos.
Oh, yes. I can't wait for Big Daddy Cool to show up.
If Croc and Roll makes 0 Vanilla Ice references, I will be disappointed.
Yeah, go Crockers, go. But yeah, so like I say, there's only 2 issues out at the moment, but it's a fun enough comic from someone that we like, that people may have missed out on at the Kickstarter stage, that we thought that it merited talking about this early on. Just to sort of help bring in more eyes to something really fun.
I agree. I think it's something that deserves some attention, and I think it's quite different from Dead Endia and Pantheon. I think it's interesting to see a book. So it's written by Hamish Steele and Ayoola Solarin, and arted by George Williams. And it's interesting to see a Hamish Steele project that isn't drawn by Hamish Steele. Yeah,
like the characters have like the feel they were probably designed by Hamish. They feel very much sort of like that, but then sort of drawn and iterated on. Sort of at a later point. And that's really cool. Like I love. I really love some of their designs, particularly like Kyle, the Cayman. I really like. They're like he's a cutie, who like has like poorly spelt merchandise for a band that like hasn't done a show yet.
Which, oh God, it's just so real.
Yeah, exactly. Like we know that you can, you poorly spell as well.
Fuck you. You know that's not what we were talking about. Although incidentally.
And like Alan is great as well. Like with the sort of like little pink sort of faux faux hawk, I guess, or I can't even tell entirely. But like,
I guess, yeah, it's hard to tell if you wear a bandana all the time.
yeah, but I love kind of like the like 80s aerobics look that he has most of the time when he's casual.
Yeah, it's great.
And then switches into like the shredded, like the shredded like denim jacket or like waistcoat thing, and like hair metal type of look or glam sort of type of look.
Yeah, it's great. And I love that as a band they've got this kind of mismatched like
they all look
hair metal.
They're all like
grunge.
Different genre. Yeah, you've got grunge, you've got punk, you've got like basically like a mod.
Yeah.
Like and the thing is like they all look great.
Yeah, there's some really good character designs, which I think you always get in Hamish Steele books, to be fair. I think everyone has a very individual design.
I think it helps that they're all sort of different species of crocodilian.
Yes.
Which means that their snouts and stuff and jaws are different lengths. Like they're sort of different sizes, like they're different sizes, like by a good amount, like not just that wouldn't quite look right in just humans. So it's like, and they can all have big teeth just sort of shining through and stuff. Like it's really fun.
It is. It's really fun, and I like it a lot. So plot-wise, we should probably like tell people at home who haven't read this what the plot is.
Yeah, we should, rather than just like going, oh, cute crocodiles and gharials and yeah.
So, in a nutshell, Mayday is a band manager for an unsuccessful band called the Unreliables, who, through a weird twist of fate, discovers a group of crocodilian musicians just
out in the swamp.
Out in the swamp, which is just a short walk from her home, when she stumbles upon them, just jamming in a shack in the swamp.
Yeah, and like this is like did they say like they've only been together for like 4 hours or 4 days? Or
4 days, like I think they say. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're she's really in on the ground floor on this new sound,
which is where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. So like she comes across them, like she's in dire financial straits. Like she's just given up on her old band, who she had been managing, and was looking for something new, and comes across magical crocodilians. Yes. I say magical, like I said before, we do not know the secret of the ooze yet. It could be magic, it could be science.
We open on a mysterious swamp wizard looking guy with a boat full of band equipment and some sort of like case, like some sort of Pulp Fiction case. Yeah. Good referencing there, Matt. I'm proud.
Yeah, like we just see the light coming out. So yeah, she like takes on this band of anthropomorphic crocodile people, who she gets to enter into a battle of the bands to try and win, to just try and sort of raise their profile and get them some proper paying gigs and sell some merch so that she can afford to pay the rent on her and her partner's apartment.
Yeah.
And to help them kind of like, because they like the Crocs they don't know about life and music. They feel it though. So
That's right.
so she's trying to help them kind of find the things that will help them make music and understand sort of what they're doing on a more conscious level.
Yes, and I especially like the kind of in the second issue we see Mayday kind of take Alan and talk to him about, you know, finding his inspiration and writing songs that aren't about rocks and
that aren't just about like wanting to go and bask on a hot rock because you're cold-blooded.
which it's beautifully on brand.
Yeah, it says that's not relatable, but
On the other
I think
hand,
that's oddly relatable. I like lying in the sun.
Fair. Also lyrically, 5 stars. I just can't complain.
I think it's my favourite song of theirs so far.
So we get 3 songs. So one of the stretch goals was that there was going to be, I think it was going to be a single, and then the stretch goal became it's going to be a full album. So we get the track names peppered throughout. So the first one we get is Take a Bite. We haven't got that yet. We've got Croc and Roll, Flat Rock, and Crocodile Tears.
Yeah.
Across which are featured in the first two issues, but are not all the songs that get mentioned. Yes. And it's tough, man. I got a lot of love for Crocodile Tears, but Flat Rock is real good.
Yeah, Flat Rock's fun, and I like it just because I think that it's lyrically just really fun.
Yeah.
And it's just a song about lying in the heat on a rock. And it's silly and like has just something everyone can relate with.
I like to think so. I mean, do you want to go full on into the music right now, or do you want to?
I think we can.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the sound of it? Like, what does it remind you of?
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question in a way that doesn't give you an answer, but also does. So, whilst I can't really give you a specific artist that it sounds like, I think the music sounds like what you think hair metal sounds like. I got a cross between like hair metal, like Fall Out Boy style. Okay, I can see that.
And I am not a fan of that particular type, but I think it works fairly well crossed with that sort of sort of thing, like that sort of hair metal-y sound as well.
There's definitely elements of hair metal, elements of pop punk, and elements of like just straight punk. I think in the length of the songs, everything is like 2 minutes and done.
Yeah,
and
it's in and out.
And I'm all about it. I think that works. I think that works for something that's intended to accompany a comic, and I think it works in a kind of not wanting to outstay its welcome. I think you run the risk of trying to go too epic or too far, and ultimately there's something to be said for like doing these quite poppy, fast, to the point little tracks that are actually really well done and really well produced. I always have this of borderline dread whenever someone says like, I'm doing a comic book Kickstarter, or I'm doing whatever kind of Kickstarter project. It's like, and a stretch goal is we're going to do an album or we're going to do a single. I always have this kind of, okay, but that's a big thing. That is a second creative project that needs to somehow relate to an already massive creative project. So I like that. I like that Wyatt Graves is clearly good at what he does.
Yes. Yeah. No. It's like it's really well made, and like it's like one of these things where, like, say, it's fast and like it does enough to be like to sort of like not to complement but not distract kind of from the kind, like, you can enjoy like it, and it feels right. It has the right feel of you listen to it and you're like, oh yeah, no, like that feels like this comic.
Definitely. And I think I've got a love for anytime there is a band in a comic and it's like,
yes,
and we're going to tell you what that band sounds like.
Yeah, like I was thinking about this and about like what about like multimedia kind of angles to comics, and also just about like music related to comic books and like and sort of like to adaptations of comic books and stuff. Quite a bit reading this, and about like one of the ones I could think of, like when I was thinking about like the making sort of tie-in music for a band from a comic was Spider-Gwen and like the Mary Janes, because that got a lot of like I can't remember if it was all just fan music, like they of like a song
I
in
feel like it
there
might have
as
been
official. And then you've got the things like the weirdness that is the Archies, with like sugar, sugar, or honey, honey, like that sort of like. So there's a band, like they form a band in the comics. So, and like we're going to do an animated sort of thing with it. So let's also actually make the band and try and sort of go off the popularity of this and somehow get an enduring single now that people don't even remember being a tie-in to all of this. Like
it's just amazing, isn't it? In such an odd way, and it's.
I mean, like the thing that everyone that you automatically think of, or at least I do. This probably says more about me. When I hear that, isn't the Archies? It's the Simpsons, and it's Homer being like out lost at sea and like dreaming of being on like an island with like candy people dancing to it, and because he's hungry.
That is good reference.
Like, and then like it's fun when this sort of thing happens. Like, and then you've got like books that come with playlists that are like, hey, here's the sort of stuff that inspired writing this.
I've got a lot of love for both things, to be fair. One of my favorites is for Royal City. I don't know if he did it for all of it, but for a lot of the Royal City issues, Jeff Lemire did a playlist that was then in the cover was presented as like the inlay for a cassette tape with all the songs written on it.
Yeah.
So for a lot of the issues of Royal City, there's like these incredibly grunge playlists to accompany it, and that was something that I loved. And I think anytime there's that kind of level of care and commitment that you've thought about, like not necessarily just what songs you've been listening to while you've written the thing, but also the songs that you were like, no, and this is what this character is listening to right now.
Yeah, like Kieran Gillen was always quite good like the Phonogram series as well, of
Yeah.
going like, hey, so like here's like particularly be like, here's the sort of stuff I'm actually referencing. Here's what here's what sort of the soundtrack to this period in my life. Here's like what I was listening to when I was writing this. Here's what like inspired me. Like, I know that's particularly present in Rue Britannia, like the first.
Yeah, there's
Phonogram.
like a full glossary index. I'm not sure what the correct term is for what it is.
Yeah, cooler fucking shaker.
Oh man, I feel like there's a lot of references to Echo Belly in that first volume, but maybe there's not as many as I want there to be.
I think you're probably like remembering more than there actually are.
I really like Echo Belly. I just think they deserved more time. That's got nothing to do with Croc and Roll. It's barely got anything to do with Phonogram, but
well, it might have a lot to do with Phonogram. We don't know how many references there were currently.
But, you know, if you're listening, pause the podcast, go listen to Great Things, come back and know that I have good taste. And
yeah, regardless of whether it was in there.
But yeah, I've got a lot of time for the integration of music, and
yes,
it's two. I love comics and I love music, so when people put them together, ultimately, I'm there for that. I can do you a whole like recommendation sheet of playlists because of comics and music because of comics. If that's what the world wants, I don't know. Maybe the world doesn't want that, and I'm just like here holding you at like record point. I don't know. Is that what that would be called? Is it record point, or would it?
I suppose.
So that's just put me on to one of my friends telling me that he got threatened at a bus stop in Middleton by someone who was going to jib him up with a broken CD. And whilst not funny, also real funny.
Jib him up? Like make him into giblets?
I don't know what it means. I've never heard the threat used by anyone other than him while telling that story. Yeah,
this very particular gibber.
Sorry, we are so far off Croc and Roll right now. Croc and Roll is like a distant memory. Anything else you'd like to add in our music, broken CD dialogue, Matt?
I don't think so. I think I think I'm all good. I don't think I've got anything that'll be getting jibbed.
Okay, probably not a bad thing. Hey.
But yeah, no, like, so there's, like I said, there's currently 3 songs. They're all pretty fun, and like have a sort of cohesive feel to them.
Yeah, I feel like they could have all been, and I've just realised how redundant what I'm about to say is. I feel like they could all be from the same album, and they're going to be, because that was the stretch goal, and that's what's happening. They are for the same album, obviously. But I look forward to seeing where that's going to go. I think the promise of 1 or 2 songs in every single issue it's a big promise, and it kind of puts us into that like so obviously Scott Pilgrim laid out like, hey, here are the words and chords to a bunch of songs, and we didn't get those songs realized until the film. The idea that we're going to get the trade of this and it's going to have an album with it. To
be fair, we also got those songs realized by Beck as well, though, which is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. He isn't who I expected.
No.
And don't get me wrong, he did a great job.
Yeah.
But yeah,
how many times did you see Scott Pilgrim in the cinema? Because I think mine was like 4 times. I was like responsible for I was single-handedly responsible for that film coming even close to making money in my local cinema at the time.
I think I saw it 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3 times for my Scott Pilgrim cinematic viewing. Someone then afterwards bought me the DVD with like the foil cardboard sleeve.
Did you get the HMV special, like which came with the cards inside it?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
we have the same.
I'm not even sure where it is, but it's cool.
Oh, I know where mine is.
It's let's be honest, it's safe with the other DVDs, never to be watched because I can stream everything now.
It's safe with all of your Friday the 13th,
which I'm dreading. Ever since I watched my Scream DVD, or tried to, and because it's like the dimensions are all wrong. Because it's like a widescreen DVD.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So it's like a tiny thumbnail in the middle of my TV screen.
This is why, though, I still like. So to go on another slight tangent for a second, this is why I have to own all of the Simpsons and stuff on DVD. Because aspect ratios get changed for new digital releases, and jokes are cut off, and like you can't control what version of thing
that's true.
Seeing. So keep up buying physical media and destroying the planet with me.
Oh. Thanks, Matt. That's kind of sad, but unfortunately who we are. Hey, at least this week's the comics we're talking about were digital, so we're not destroying the world right now. So Croc and Roll, and this was mentioned by Hamish in a previous podcast interview. If you wanted to go looking for that might be somewhere. That obviously there is a very clear TMNT influence here, and the whole series came from a conversation about, if you were going to create a anthropomorphic animal show like Turtles, Biker Mice, Street Sharks, others are available. That one with the samurais and the pizzas and the cats. Oh yeah, Samurai Pizza Cats.
Yeah, I don't know what it's so hard to remember the name.
And I think this is that, but in a really different, interesting way. The fact that it's not as action, and we've got music and romance in parts and comedy. I think we get a good mix,
and it's far enough away from a lot of like those kind of Turtles imitators to feel like its own thing.
Yes, definitely.
As like in terms of like not just being a Turtles imitator, it's got its own voice.
I think what it is as well is I think we're deep enough in now that it's not people just trying to imitate Turtles like it was in the 90s, but now it is people who love the Turtles and
wanting to
do something in that style without just wanting to do that exact thing.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I don't think this is the only thing that exists in that kind of vein. But I think this is one that appeals to me a lot because I like Hamish as a writer and as an artist, which actually ties in with issue 2 where we get Hamish.
Did you laugh as well when you just saw a guest cover by Hamish Steele and you were like, and then like you'd basically forgotten that like that he wasn't doing even though like it doesn't look like his stuff exactly. I was just like la la la. And I was like, guest cover by Hamish, and I just had that moment where like everything sort of flashed before me, and I was just like, do, and I was like, oh my god! And I, like usual suspects, like I dropped the mug and suddenly realised.
Yeah, a little bit. It was one of those things. It's like, huh, wow, and I like it. It's good. It's good as whether it was intended as a joke or not. Maybe we'll never know.
Yeah, I don't think it was, but it was. It was just a little surreal to me, and I still can't quite comprehend why.
I've got to acknowledge though, whether intentional or not, that was funny, and
it was very funny.
The comedy throughout, I think, does hit well. I think favorite jokes are close because there's stuff about the Crocs haven't played a gig yet, and Mayday is already making merchandise, and
I've been friends with you when you've been starting new bands.
There's just something very real about it, and I don't even think I'm that bad. I know people who, like, for about a year were trying to sell you t-shirts, but didn't do any music or gig. And we're just constantly like, yeah, but have you seen our shirts? And we've got guitar picks and we've got pins and we've got posters. And it's like, you for what? What are you promoting? And it's like, then a year later they play one gig and it's like, that was enough. Yep. We'll,
it's like we are retiring like before we have a chance to go stale.
Yeah, we don't want you to get sick.
We're retiring with our artistic integrity intact.
I'm not going to name any names, but I knew a band who did that for a year, constantly telling you that they were just looking for a drummer, but they never got the drummer. They played like a couple of acoustic shows and spent most of their time on Facebook complaining about how other people weren't as punk as they thought they were. I loved them. They were just incredibly, hip and cool, and obviously loads of people bought their shirts.
Yep.
But anyway, Mayday makes bobbleheads, and there's something adorable about that that I am there for.
I also love the bobbleheads.
I quite happy about the idea that there has definitely been a band somewhere who's like, man, we should have bobbleheads.
I am surprised that you didn't do that with at least like one of your bands.
That is a good point. Leave that with me.
Because, like, I mean, you tried to give me a bunch of your t-shirts for one of your old bands at one point, and I was surprised that, like, I wasn't given like a pack of stickers, a commemorative frisbee.
No frisbees, but I do have CD singles that were made in 2015, and that's
so frisbees.
Of the same equivalent value, I think. Honestly, I think that the deal people are going to be wanting to look out for with our Bigger Than Capes merch is that any Bigger Than Capes merchandise will come with a former band Zach was in t-shirt.
Oh yeah, you need to do that.
I think
you'll finally clear out your wardrobes.
I'll finally get a little bit of free space back. That's a pretty sweet deal, actually. I might open that up to the general public and see if they want. I don't think they do, but I might see. But anyway, our jokes aside and Hamish Steele's jokes back at the forefront, there is a joke in issue 2 that Alan makes about being born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Yes.
Which is set up in his like little origin story at the start of the issue.
Yeah, where he's owned by a little rich kid. Who's like the butler, or apparently this guy like puts him in like a boiled egg, sorry, not a boiled egg, like in an egg cup.
Yeah.
And it's part of his breakfast, and he cracks it or goes to crack it, and he chomps through the shell and bites the spoon. Which
honestly, just good comedy stuff, man.
Very cute.
I did like the contrast. I thought issue 1 was a little what? I thought issue 1 was a good, concise intro to Mayday, her situation with her girlfriend Chloe, and then throwing the Crocs in there, pretty sharpish. I liked how issue 2 did more kind of character work and looked into Alan and his identity and where he came from. And
yes,
I do want to know more. Don't get me wrong. I think Dylan, Kyle, and Gary as well. I think we've got enough issues to look into where they came from, and I am interested in that a lot.
Yeah.
I also need to know just a little bit more about the Sea Devils and the Unreliables as bands.
Yeah, like I definitely want to. I want the Sea Devils to get some more songs,
and I think we'll probably get that. I think that's.
See, I'm half expecting that it is just going to be like the recurring joke of like they show up again and again and still never have a new song. But I'm hoping that we get at least like one more from them.
Yeah, I think it will happen. I think we'll get a little bit more at some point, maybe, if we're lucky.
Like, yeah, I like their look with the lead vocalist like having the bite marks out of his hat and everything, and them all like seemingly wearing like beach shorts,
which it works. I like it. It's dumb.
Yeah. Though the lead singer does wear sandals with socks.
He does,
so
which
he's
obviously makes
an
him
unforgivable
a monster,
sinner. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the trade takes form, and I also would very much like a lot of Hamish Steele's stuff. Well, all of it. Let's be honest. I feel like there is always room for more. So with Pantheon, I know that's going to take the form of the often rumored Norse gods sequel. Dead Endia, I think, was just
we're at 2 volumes now, and
of the trilogy we're gonna get.
Yeah, and we are getting the animated series.
Yeah, which I'm really looking forward to. I feel like this as well is. I feel like Croc and Roll would work as an animated series.
See, I think I'd like it as like an animated film more.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't seen enough yet, but I get the kind of film feel more of it than a series necessarily. But it all comes down to how it ends. Like, I think.
Yeah, I feel like this might end in a position where there can be more of it, and I would be into that. I think.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to the end of this and feel like we didn't get enough Croc and Roll. And I think this is a fun intro premise, especially maybe it's because I'm like, knee deep in Turtles right now that I'm just game for
anything about like cool anthropomorphic animals who like are cool teens.
Yeah, maybe I'm just in that, that's my headspace right now.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
It isn't a bad thing. And you know what else isn't a bad thing?
Croc
Our sponsor, our sponsors at Travelling Man, who still going strong during the pandemic. They are doing their, like I said earlier, they're doing their click and collect service, so you can still get your pull list. They are at Manchester, Leeds,
Newcastle
and York. Yeah. See, we've been doing this so long, and I still get like stuck where I'll go, I'm pretty sure it's Newcastle and I'm pretty sure it's York.
Yeah.
One at a time. I'll know each read. But yeah, like they're still going strong. You can get your pull list. You can get any sort of assorted comics and stuff and board games online. From them,
including Dead Endia and Pantheon, and I know they've been and eventually Croc and Roll. I know they've been big supporters of Hamish Steele, and he's done 2 signing tours with them.
Yes.
I think when that kind of thing is happening again, I think it's very likely we'll get a Croc and Roll.
Yeah. Also, if you like Hamish and you get the chance, go back to Thought Bubble in 2019 and get his Godzilla poster.
His Godzilla poster
that I
is
believe we
real
both
cool.
have.
Yeah, we do.
And sits in my lounge, on the wall in my lounge.
Yeah, I'm planning to actually frame mine and hang mine quite soon as well. So, also, I've got a Pantheon print as well, which you can. They still have them at Traveling Man, so maybe they still do. I don't know. He still has them at least. But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking out Croc and Roll. I think you might be able to pre-order it online, even if you weren't on the Kickstarter. I'm not sure where that is, but hey, do some Googling. If not, there will be a physical version available in the future, I'm sure, and probably a digital version. The digital version, I like it.
It feels like it also like a digital version is a fairly natural choice given the musical side as well. Like,
yeah, if they do a digital bundle thing where you can pick this up with the album, I think that is a sweet way to do it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think that's about it.
I think we've said what we needed to say. There wasn't a lot for us to go at with it just being 2 issues, but
like I hope that from the tone that we had talking about it, that it conveys how much we enjoyed those 2 issues so far. Like when it all comes out, I think that we should probably come back to it again. And see sort of where we see it going from here. Like it's has a lot of potential.
I agree, and I think we definitely will revisit this further down the line. The same with quite a few of the things we talked about recently. I think we'll check back in, and I'm looking forward to talking about some of the other Kickstarters that we've backed between the 4 of us.
Yeah. I know that there is a Jack Kirby Dracula I need to check out.
Hunts for the Solarvore.
Ooh.
Hunt for the Solarvore is the Jack Kirby Draculas.
Yeah, what if Jack Kirby created Dracula?
Bloody good question, if you ask me, mate.
Yeah.
It looks super cool. I haven't backed it yet, but I'm going to, and I will share that as well on our social medias so other people can find it, and it's not just us saying words. Good luck spelling Solarvore. So yeah, no. I know we're all 4 of us collectively have our ear to the ground on cool looking Kickstarters. So and uncool looking Kickstarters. I've backed a few of those as well. I don't know about you.
yeah. I mean, I have my fair share of role playing games. From like role-playing game books that I've still yet to actually ever run.
Yeah, I feel like we could quite comfortably do Kickstarters we've backed and not read or looked at, but I'm very happy to
I've read and looked at them. I've just yet to get a group together to play them with. And I have watched my Whack-Fu Blu-rays from about 8 or 9 years ago now.
Is the story that you'll tell, I'm sure. No, to be fair, I'm pretty consistently on top of my Kickstarters at the moment. I think that the last year has really given me a lot of time to read all the Kickstarters I've backed. That's been nice. It's been novel.
Yeah. That's exactly why I've been able to read as much One Piece as I have as well.
Yeah, true. If you had to go outside more often, I imagine you would have read significantly less One Piece.
Yeah. Yep.
Same for me with Turtles, to be fair. But no, this has been fun. I've enjoyed Croc and Roll. I like to think you have as well, Matt.
I'd like to think I have as well. Because I did.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to reading the issues as they come up, and I'm looking forward to getting the full trade. I think I backed it on a tier that gets me Croc and Roll guitar picks and other Croc and Roll merchandise. I can't remember what it is, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the album. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I hope it finds its way onto some kind of streaming service. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to remember how I actually put music on my phone, and I don't know how to do that. Does anyone anymore?
I'm sure that with time and patience, you can get there. But yeah, I think I think that's gonna do it for us, Zach.
I think that is. So we've been Matt and Zach, and we'll continue to be.
Hopefully.
This is well, yeah. Hopefully, could go either way. This has been Bigger Than Capes, and remember that comics are bigger than capes.
They're sometimes Crocs.